Hey, hey, hey. How you doing out there, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of God Concept Podcast. Right now, I'm doing an episode of my podcast as I cruise around. You know what I mean? Just, came from seeing my kids handling business that I had to handle today. I just got some new information, so I figured I might as well report on it, just like everybody else reporting on it. You know what I mean? The Hantavirus or Hantavirus, it's spelled like Hantavirus. It's crazy, man. You know, it's the new coronavirus. It's going around now. You know what I mean? They said that the coronavirus, I don't know if everybody remembers, but they said the coronavirus started started from bats out in China somewhere in a cave or some shit like that. Some people was exploring a cave and they came in contact with some bats. And that's how we got the coronavirus. You know what I mean? The Wuhan flu. You know what I mean? Because everybody know it really came from Wuhan. You know, it came out that lab in China. It didn't come from bats. It was man-made. It was manufactured to take a lot of people out. Now this one they saying it came from, it was a cruise ship. There was a bunch of people on a cruise ship getting off at different islands. They boarded in Antarctica, right? They boarded in Antarctica and they started visiting all types of different islands, right? All over the place. Started, you know what I mean, getting off, unboarding, you know what I mean? Just to check out different islands and get back on, just like you would on any cruise. They said that people must have inhaled or came in contact with some type of rat droppings or some type of, they said birds or rats or whatever. But a lot of people got sick to the point where they had to lock people in, lock them in on the boat. On the cruise ship, they had to lock people in and like bring food to their place or whatever. They had to get them to doctors. You know what I mean? They was trying to get them to doctors and things like that without making anybody else ill or sick in any type of way. But it's like, man, it keeps on being something. Every few years, it's like history repeats itself. You know? So what are we supposed to do now? Get new shots, new vaccination shots? This is new. They gonna come out with Hantavirus shots for everybody? Because this disease is going to spread. It's going to spread. It's going to be a bigger spectacle. It's going to be a new, bigger spectacle. We never even heard of this virus until now. You know how many people in America live with rats, roaches, and all types of shit, and all types of birds and shit like that, because they said it could have possibly came from birds or rodents or whatever, right? But people live with this shit all their life, and we never heard of Hantavirus. So where did this virus really emanate from? Where did this virus really come from? Where did it come from? Me personally, I think it's another man-made virus. But, that's neither here nor there. I'm just looking at the evidence. And then on top of that, these passengers on this cruise, they boarded in Antarctica, right? They boarded in Antarctica. And they got off on several islands. They went to South Africa. They went all over the place, right? Infecting other people, you know what I mean, in other places, So now you got people on different islands who's catching these viruses. Islands who probably never even heard of this virus themselves. Never experienced no shit like that, like a pandemic type illness that's going around. They never experienced that type of shit. They didn't even get affected by corona. Some places didn't even get affected by the coronavirus at all, right? COVID-19. But now you got a cruise ship full of passengers that's sick, spreading this shit to everybody. You know what I mean? And they boarded in Antarctica or whatever. know, I think the spread of this new virus was possibly done intentionally. You know what I mean? I would like to see what new information come out with about this virus. You know, in the future they're gonna come out with more things about this virus. We gotta realize that demons work through people. Certain people got very, very, very sick and twisted agendas for the population of different places, especially in America, where they use us as guinea pigs and shit like that. You know? So who's to say that possibly somebody wasn't sick with this hantavirus, purposefully got themselves sick with this hantavirus, so they could go other places and infect other people with the same virus and the illness and things like that. Is it stronger than coronavirus or COVID-19? We don't know. We don't know whether it's stronger, whether it's just as bad or worse. You know? But this is what we have to deal with. This is what we're dealing with now. You know? It's sad. It's sad to see it, but I do know one thing. If it spreads, which I think, you know, which I suspect is going to spread further, right? Now they're going to have new shots for everybody to take. Remember, everybody had to take them coronavirus shots? Had to take 3 rounds of the shit. And if you got the Pfizer, then you only took 1, you know? Remember how the shots was making people sick on top of the fucking coronavirus or illness that they was trying to combat or keep from getting? Some people got it from the fucking shot. You gotta be wary, man. These people play with our lives like chess pieces. And we not bishops or kings or rooks. They look at us as pawns. Pawns in a sick, maniacal, twisted game that's played here. You know? It's demonology 101. It's evil. It's evil what's going on. That's what they doing. You know? Right now in Philadelphia, they hurting our kids by taking schools away. They closing 17 fucking schools. It's already overpopulated at many schools to the point where they need to be opening more schools. But instead of opening more schools, they're going to take them away. They don't care about your youth education. They don't care about our youth education. Because I got a child that's in school right now, going to one of these schools that's going to be, you know, shut down eventually. You know, that's on the list to be shut down. I don't like it. I don't like it not one bit. It's fucked up. You know what I mean? You want your child to get a good education, even though our education system, you know, our curriculum is very much structured in a way to raise us, citizens, to be dumb to the actual facts of things that's going on in the world. Things that we should know about, we don't know about. You know? They give us the technologies that they want us to know. It's programming. That curriculum is programming. You know? The history is whitewashed. Only thing that's real about it is the science. You know, and even that's, you know what I mean, flawed in a way. The science, the mathematics, the language, you know what I mean? Things like that, things you can actually apply in your everyday life. Why don't they teach about taxes? Why they stopping the teaching of religion in schools or God to the teaching of the Creator, right? Why don't they give you that anymore? You know? Can't even say God in school. You can't even say the Creator in school. You know? I remember the Pledge of Allegiance. You know what I mean? Things like that. Now they got different school anthems and assemblies and things like that. We gotta make it out of this fucking trap. Point blank period. You know what I mean? If you don't have enough money or the wherewithal to do something, You know, if you don't have the inclination to do something to brighten your future and the future of your children in some type of way, you're just a pawn, you're just a puppet, you're just a slave, a cog in the system that's going to continuously be used, greased, and used more. That's what they doing to us, you know? It's crazy. You know, just when you think you're ahead, just when you figure it out, something new or someone new or this situation is introduced into your life, you know, and it fucks it up even more. I've been through so much that it showed me so much. It really put everything in a clear perspective. Everything ain't as clear cut as I would like it to be. But I know enough to see, you know, when we're involved in shenanigans with shit that's, you know, that's being controlled, you know? It's sad, man. I'm tired of it, man. You know, it makes you not even want to trust anybody. When you already know that they can interject people into your life. They can put people into your life to hurt you and stop you from doing the things that you got to do. You know, I'm going to do my best, you know, and I advise everyone out there who listen to these videos to do their best to be a person who has their own, to be a person that don't got to rely on the system, to be a person that can start a business or a corporation or a company or something like that and gain whatever type of wealth that you can so you could buy your way out of this shit, you know? Because either way you fuck, you think you not fucked because you get a good job. You might be in law enforcement. You might be with one of the societies out here. You know, the Masons or the Eastern Stars or some shit like that. But either way, you're still being used. You're still cattle, just like everybody else. You know, some people don't realize it because they're allowed to live a good life, a decent life, without being tampered with, without being exploited, without being, I forget the word, but I wrote it in one of my things. It's a big fucking word. It's, you know what I mean? It's basically when somebody's committing a conspiracy against you. You know what I mean? Exploitation. It's almost like entrapment, but you don't know what's happening, and you don't know if the person who's causing a problem in your life even know what's happening. It's so fucking tricky. It's so fucking intricate. I don't even believe in coincidences no more. How can I believe in a coincidence when things happen so tied together, so evident? You know what I mean? This new virus, the Hantavirus, is just an end to meet multiple means. Population control, you get people sick, you get to vaccinate them, you get to do all this crazy shit. Lady crossing the street with a baby. You get to do all this crazy shit under the guise of you trying to help everybody with this virus. You know? They give you the illness with one hand, and the other hand, they got the antidote for you. And the antidote still got the sickness in it. So either way, you're getting infected with something. Either way, you're getting infected with something. You're getting something in your bloodstream, something in your body that's either going to kill you off or give you some type of whatever, illness, some type of something that you can't get rid of, you know? People that got affected with that coronavirus, they can't even get rid of some symptoms that they had from the coronavirus. People got to live with illnesses and things like that for the rest of their life because of that shit. No cure for some of the things that they got to deal with. You know, some of the things they put out here. I do believe it was manufactured. Damn, they left their window down. They got balls. But yeah, man, I do believe it's manufactured. You know what I mean? I do believe that, You know, this Hantavirus ain't just start from them getting off on an island, some dirty ass island, and inhaling rat feces or bird feces or some shit like that. I can't believe it. Not after all that we know. Not after all that we've been through already. You know what I mean? We already been down that road and figured certain shit out that they put out in the media and things like that to let you know that these things are manufactured. These things are man-made. Especially when you never had in history somebody coming down with a Hantavirus. Now, what they'll do to combat some information like that I'm giving you, right? They'll try to say, they'll try to make up a document or something or old case of the Hantavirus and then put that somewhere in the files so they can discover it and say, no, this was around before. Here go one record of it. It just wasn't regularly known about things like that until, you know, we went to this island and now the Hantavirus is in full swing again, and in fact is worse than it ever was. That's what they'll try to tell you. That's what they'll try to do. It's sad, man. They use us as guinea pigs. It's exploitation, you know? I forget the other word that I'm thinking about, but it's like it's along the lines of exploitation, but it's it's deep. It's deep. I'm not that, you know, I try to get on here. I try to speak intelligently on my podcast and things like that. But I'm an intelligent person. I'm just not all that well with the words. And I know that's funny to hear because I'm an author. You know what I mean? I write books and things like that. Even in my books, it's like, you know, I got a little bit of dyslexia. So you got to excuse me if I don't know all the words to say at the moment when I'm trying to explain myself. But it's sad, you know, when they do these type of things to people. I'm one of the people that's been exploited, that been down the rabbit hole of being investigated and you know, I don't want to say entrapped, you know what I mean, entrapment and things like that, even though I can say that. Because, man, they'll try to get so much on you and just take you down. The more powerful you are, and not even physically. Physically, you can feel like you ain't shit. But spiritually, the more important your spirit is, man, they will try to break you the fuck down. They will try to break you down. So that way you never become or get or reach a level that you was always meant to reach. Some of you got very, very strong souls. You don't even understand the power that you have inside you. The abilities that you have, mentally, spiritually, you know, that can emanate physically and manifest something physical that's greater than anything that you could do. Some of us don't even understand that we have that power. We got untapped potential. Each person got untapped potential. This is why they calcify the pineal gland. This is why they put fake news out there. This is why you'll be bad. You'll be dealt the bad hand in life. You'll be dealt the bad hand in life because they know how against the agenda that you'll be. They know the type of power that you hold. They know that it will be hard for them. Not hard for them, but you'll be like a person that stand guard in between the bullshit that they trying to pull and good people just trying to live their life. You know? We living right now in life. We live in biblical stories, man. We living out biblical stories. The life you live ain't for nothing. This shit is written somewhere, man. And it's going to be told and it's going to echo. It's going to echo somewhere, whether you know it or not. Before each of us die, what happens? Everybody say it. Your life flashes before your eyes as if it was a movie. Think about that. Your life flashes before your eyes as if it was a movie. That means this is being recorded somewhere. You know what I mean? Not just by you and your memories and the things that you're going through here. It's being recorded and transmitted somewhere else. When you leave this earth, that's all you take with you. You don't take none of the hardware, but you take all of the software with you, i.e. your feelings, your emotions, your memories, the things you went through. All of that gets uploaded back into the clouds. Ain't that funny how we call it iCloud and all that shit? Yeah, it's really your cloud. It's iCloud. It's our cloud. When you pass away, that shit get uploaded back into the clouds. Just like your phone. When you get a new phone, you get one of these new devices, these Apple devices. What happens? They take your old device. Majority of the time, they take your old device. They give you a new device, right? And they download all the information back into your phone that you uploaded into the cloud. That's how your body is in a lot of ways. You gotta realize things in everyday life mimic things on a spiritual level, right? So when you think about that, that's just like you dying, you go back up into the clouds with all the memory, everything that you learned, everything here. You lose the knowledge of everything you've been through, and then you re-download into another baby, into another fetus, into another boom, and then you're born again. That's the cycle of reincarnation. That's the cycle of reincarnation right there. There's nothing we can do about it. It's true. It's all a fact. It's factual information, man. And it's like, you know, they say ignorance is bliss. Perhaps if I was ignorant to all of this shit, perhaps I would have a really, really fucking decent life right now. I'd be in a better place, in a better situation, all of that, right? But I think my eyes was open for a reason, to see if I can handle that information. But after that, me taking that information and not processing it in a way that I was supposed to process it in, what they do is, right, i.e., you know, the powers that be, i.e. the powers that be, what they'll do is they'll make sure that your life gets more fucked up. So it's even harder for you to get your message out there, to get your foundation set, so this way you can actually accumulate something or do something that'll actually reach the masses. That's why, you know, it's a love-hate thing with social media, because we can get our message out there. But who is the message really getting out there to? Is anybody really hearing you? Is anybody really going to help you when you need help? It's crazy, man. A lot of people don't understand. It's so deep, the things that I'm talking about, because they can even affect the thoughts, right? And this is the type of control that they have. They even can affect the thoughts you have towards another person. Think about that. They even could affect the thoughts that you have about another person in your personal life. You wasn't in contact with anybody to tell you, oh, this person is bad, or this is going on. But they can affect how you treat a person in everything. That goes to show you the level of control that we're under. That's control not of this world. The type of control that I'm talking about controls our government, controls our local municipalities, controls your FBI, controls your CIA, controls your government, and all of that shit. We live in a system of control. This is why it's very important to understand that the only thing you can control is yourself and what you do with yourself. And don't ever yield control of yourself to anyone else. Never entertain unwanted thoughts, because when you entertain those unwanted thoughts, right, If it's not your thought, sometimes you got to think. And I said this previously. Sometimes you have to think. Is this thought that I'm thinking really mine or someone else's? Is this thought that I'm thinking really, like, am I thinking about this, or is this thought injected into my mind from somewhere, somehow? It's forces at work here that we don't fully comprehend. You know, I think anybody who don't believe in aliens and conspiracies and things like that, they're not really thinking outside the box, because all of these things are real. You know, all of these things are real. You know, even the notion, okay, I'm going to give you a simple example right now. You in your mind, you know exactly what you got to do, what's best for you, as far as personally, your diet, your eating habits, as far as certain situations, you know exactly what you're supposed to do. But something still make you do what you're not supposed to do. You got diabetes, but you're still eating candy and chips and cookies and this and that. You want to be in shape, but you're still doing things to not be in shape. You want to get your life right. You want to stop smoking them cigarettes, but you're still smoking fucking cigarettes. You want to stop doing drugs, but you're still doing drugs. You want to stop drinking, but you're still drinking. That is a level of control. If you know what you're doing, you're not supposed to do. And some people believe that just because you're doing it and you admit that you do it, and you're like, oh, well, I'm this and I'm that. You know what I mean? Oh, well, I do this. And just because you're honest about it don't mean it's not right. Just because you're honest about something that you're doing wrong don't make it right. You have honest pimps. You have honest hoes. You have honest drug dealers who tell you what they do. Yeah, I'm this. I'm a drug dealer, or I'm a pimp, or I'm a scammer. You got scammers that admit to you that they're a fucking scammer. And they know fully what they doing to people. Right? But yet and still, they still do it. They know it's wrong, but they still doing it. Why? There you go. You know? It's that you have to have accountability. You can't be selfish in life. If you know something that you're doing is personally affecting somebody else and hurting them, then stop doing it. If somebody loves you enough to ask you to stop doing something and it's hurting you, they love you, so they don't want you to die, go to jail, this, that, or the third, whatever it is, have some type of bad consequences from the action that you having. They trying to get you to stop. Don't sit up there and try to flip it on them and act like it's, oh, they need to mind their fucking business. No, you need to stop. Because those could be one of your messages letting you know that, hey, whatever effect can be had from what you're doing is about to take place, or it already taken place. And you have to stop. You have to cease and desist what you're doing right now to either reverse the effects or stop the repercussions of what you're doing from happening. Because ultimately you're going to take yourself away from, you're going to take yourself out of the game. You know? Or maybe it's meant for you to do it. Because maybe whoever's up above controlling all this shit want a good show. Right? I know that there's this thing where they talk about you got the devil on your left shoulder, and demons on your left shoulder and God on your right, the Creator on your right, or angels on your left, and then no, demons on your left and angels on your right. But it's like that goes to show you that there's a level of good and bad and everything. You know what I mean? You got to choose which way you're gonna look, which way you're gonna gravitate to. What are you? Who are you? What are you gonna do? You know? So it's like, man, at the end of the day, we are responsible for our own actions and how we're gonna, continue our life. You know, it's pretty much that simple. You know, try to avoid the control that's trying to control you, right? It's hard to do, especially when when you're a people person. You like people, you like meeting, you like doing this, you like doing that. You know, not understanding that people are sent into your life for a reason. Sometimes it's not a good reason. Sometimes it's not a good thing that you met that person, that you dealt with this person. It may seem good because they giving you what you want at the moment. You know, you're having fun, you're lusting, you're fucking, you're doing this, whatever this is. And it's like, man, you never know that if you would have just abstained from all that shit, maybe it was a blessing down the road for you that you could have received on your own instead of going through more shit, instead of introducing somebody else's problems into your life. You know, I'm a fixer. Whenever I see a problem, I try to fix it. You know, I like to come up with I'm a solutionary type of person. You know, I'm not a problematic, I'm a solutionary type of person. I try to find solutions, you know, and for my life, for somebody else's life. But it's like, man, and in the same hand, I can't really take anybody else's problems on because I already got too many problems of my own to deal with and to face. You know what I mean? I can't deal with anybody else's problems. And it hurt me to say that because I got people that I love that I can't deal with no more. People that I love was put into my life to hurt me. People that I know all my life was put there to hurt me. So why shouldn't I believe that somebody else interjected into my life somehow, however we met or whatever the connection was, whatever it was in my mind to tell me, you know what I mean, you know, meet this person or do this or, you know what I mean? Like, who am I to say that that wasn't to my own detriment, that wasn't done, you know what I mean, to make sure to throw another obstacle in my life, to throw another roadblock in my life. I mean, it seems like a lot of times that's what people are, you know? Yeah, I ain't gonna blow y'all ear off too long with all my bullshit, you know? I just wanted to put that right there. And, yeah, man, looking out for this Hantavirus and everything like that. I'd like to thank y'all for joining me for another episode of God Concept Podcast. My last episode, the taping went wrong or whatever. Something was funny on it. So I hope this one come out right, you know. So thank you all for joining me for another episode of God Concept Podcast. I put the wrong outro music on. I'm Mr. Pagan. Please like, share, subscribe. And I'll be back at y'all with more information. Peace. Love y'all. Stay aware. Stay aware.